discuss introduction to pandas, importing data, imputing data, and frequency table and data visualization. Let's have an introduction to pandas. Pandas is an open source Python library that provides high performance, easy to use data structure and analysis tools for Python programming. It is considered very powerful data structure as compared to other data structure because of its high performance and data manipulation techniques that are available in pandas. The name pandas is derived from the word penal data, and it is an econometrics terms for multidimensional data. And the panda deals data using data frames. Now we will discuss the data frame. Data frame is a two-dimensional tabular data structure. First dimension is a row and second dimension is column. So we can say the data frame is a collection of data in tabular format where the row represent the samples and column represent the variable. Variable in the sense that the properties associated with that uh, rows and samples. Now the second point is a data frame is contains heterogeneous data. So we can say it is potentially heterogeneous data structure. Whenever we read data into our IDE, so it becomes a data frame, and each and every variable gets its data type based on the data available in that column. So it is we don't require to explicitly specify the data type of the column. It is just basically based on the values or type of the data available in the data frame. So you can see here we have one snapshot of data frame. Here we have index and index two times. Later we will discuss why it is showing two times index. And some you can see it is showing in the form of table. And here rows and columns are labeled. The labeling for rows is indexing, which is starting from 0 to n minus 1, and column is labeled with the name of the variable. So we say the labeled axis. Now we will learn about how to import the data into our programming platform. To import the data, first we have to set the working directory, because whenever we are opening any IDE, it show the default working directory. So and we can have our data in different directory. So we have to set the working directory so that we will be able to read the data from that directory. So for that purpose, we have to import OS library, which is a library to change the working directory. And in this library, we have one function. That function is a chdir. The meaning is that child library. And in this function, we pass the path of that directory. And as we execute this command, it set the working directory for your session. Now we will see how to read the data from the CSV file. We have one function, read underscore CSV function, that reads the CSV file from the directory. The syntax for read CSV function is data frame. Here you have to keep the name of the frame is equal to pd.read underscore CSV, and then we pass the name of the or path of that file, and we also keep one more variable, which is the index underscore column is equal to 0. So if we are the meaning of index underscore column is equal to 0 means if you want to keep the first column as an index, so you can pass the 0, so it will set your first column as index. Sometimes it happens in the our data we have a one column that is representing the index. So in those cases we can keep index underscore column is equal to 0. But if you don't have the index column already in your file, so in those cases you can set index underscore column is equal to 1. Actually this is the default value, you don't require, you can just pass the name of the file, so it will automatically will create a one column of index in your file. Now let's have a one example of importing the data. Here I have a one file. The name of file is ratings.csv, and ratings is the data frame in my left side and is equal to pd.read underscore csv, and I am passing the name of that file with the extension .csv. Then it will create a one variable data frame in your environment tab. I want to show the environment tab in Spider. If you will open the Spider in the this right side corner, top corner will show the your environment tab. So it is showing that it is a data frame, and in this data frame I have added a one index column because I am not taking the index underscores column is equal to 0. So the default value is 1, so it is adding a one column of index here. And the remaining column as it is, you will see that we have read from the file user ID, movie ID, and rating timestamp. We can also create a copy of this data frame, and if you want to create a copy of this data frame, you can use the function copy, and the syntax of this function is you have to take a new name of the data frame is equal to ratings.copy and deep is equal to false. There are two types of copy in the pandas. If you want to create a copy with the deep is equal to false, we say shallow copy. It is the name of the data frame is new, but the reference is same. So whatever the changes you will make in the copy, in the case of shallow copy, it will reflect in the original data frame. So, and the other way is you can keep deep is equal to false, which is the default value, and if you are keeping false means you are making a deep copy and you are creating a new data frame with the new reference. So whatever the changes you will make in this data frame, new data frame, it will not reflect in the original data frame. So it depends on the user what kind of copy he want to create, whether he want to create a shallow copy or he want to create a deep copy. Now let's have attributes of data. So sometimes whenever we are reading the data, we want to know what are the index of this data frame, what are the columns of the data frame. So it is a part of a summary that we have discussed yesterday, data summary step. So if you want to see the row labels or index of the data frame, as I mentioned in the previous slides, so row labeling means index. So data frame name you can keep dot index. This is a syntax, and the example is here on your in this slide. Ratings. This is the name of the data frame dot index, and it is showing the output. You can see it will show the output in two different ways. It depends on your indexing. So in the first case, you can see the indexing is very less. So it is showing 1, 1, 1. So it is reading the I have read the data frame with the first column which was in the data, so that's why it is showing this indexing. But if you have a large data and number of index are very large, so in those cases it will show very short so it will show the second output range index start is equal to 0. It means the indexing is starting from 0 and it is stopping at index 100 at 36. So means in our column in our column or in our data we have a record 1 lakh 836 and step is equal to 1. We also have some other command for to access the attributes of the data. If you want to access the columns of the data frame, you can use the column keyword, and you have to, the syntax is here, data frame underscore data frame name, and this column name columns you are giving and you are executing, it will returns the columns label of data frame. And if you want to know the total number of element in the data frame, you can keep the size dot size keyword. And if you want to know the dimension of the data frame, like 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 or 1000 by 1300, so this kind of dimension it will return. So you can use dot shape keyword. And if you want to know the column wise memory that the data frame is using, so you can use the memory underscore uses function, and this function will take the index and comma deep. So here the memory uses you can see in two ways. First, you can pass the without passing any argument, you can use the memory underscore uses function, so it will return the all columns along with the data types. And if you are passing the particular column, so only that particular it will show, and it will show the memory uses of column in bytes. And if you want to know the number of axes of the data frame, like how many 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, so it will show you can use the dot ending keyword, and it will return 2 in the case of 2-dimensional, it will return 3 in the case of 3-dimensional. Now we will learn how to access the data from the data frame. The Python slicing operator and attribute dot operator are used for accessing the data, and it is as simple as we were using the arrays. It provides the quick and easy access to Panda data structure. And we also have some other commands that will help you to select the data from the data frame, like head function, tail function, add and iadd function, location, and value count. I can demonstrate here if you will. Let me explain first. If you are using the head function, it will return the first n rows of the data frame. And by default, it will return the first 5 rows of the data frame if you are not passing any number to this function. The syntax for head function is data frame dot head. If you want to see the last rows of the data frame, you can use the tail function, and the syntax is data frame dot tail function. And here if you are passing n rows, means whatever rows, a number of rows you are passing, those rows it will return last rows of the data frame it will return. And if you are not passing any number, then it will return last 5 rows of the data frame. The advantage of this tail function is that suppose sometimes we are appending some rows in the data frame and we want to see the last rows of the data frame, so you can use this tail function. It is making easy for you. Otherwise, if you are not using, you have to scroll the data frame and you have to go. So in the case of 1 million data, it will be very difficult to see the last rows of the data frame. So you can use tail function. We can also access the scalar values with the help of add and iadd function. So first add function is a label based scalar lookup, and if you know the column name or variable name, and in a particular column you want to see the particular value, so you can pass the row number and you can pass the name of the column, so it will return that particular scalar value. And if you want to use the integer, based on the integer label you want to access the particular column value, you can use the iadd function. And location function will allow to access the group of rows and columns by labels. And value count you can use to access the series containing count of unique values. So these are the functions that will help you to access the data from the data frame. So before going to start, we can demonstrate this. Okay. So tomorrow we will have the classification case study, and that we will use this function, because I have to okay, let import pandas. First we have to import library OS. Why? Because we have to set the directory, and after setting the after you importing the OS, you have to use the os.chdr function. It is little bit slow, we have to wait. So I can go through the directory. I will copy the path and I will paste here. It is taking too much time. I think we have to go through the PPT. So we have this path I am copying, and I'm keeping here, and as you will execute, it will set your directory. Okay. Okay, we can avoid today. Tomorrow we will have this demonstration in the case of case study. Now we will discuss the imputing missing values. In pandas data frame, missing values are represented by NaN, N-A-N. So the missing values can be in different format, like you can use the symbol like hash symbol, you can use some other symbol you can use. So you can replace them by using the NaN also, because why? Because we are having the different tools in the Python that will help you to deal with the missing values. So if you are imputing the missing values of the from the data frame, so we have to go some steps, go through these steps. First we have to import the data frame, import the data into data frame, and while reading we have to represent the missing values as NaN, NaN, and identify the missing values. Fill the missing values with the suitable value, and here we have two ways of filling the missing values. First we can use the mean or median or mode, mean and median. in case of numerical data. And if we are having the categorical data, in the case of categorical data, we fill the missing values with the help of most frequent class of that categorical data. So now we will see how to get the data frame with no missing value. So here we are taking NA values. This is the keyword that we will pass to the read underscore CSV function, and in this keyword you have to keep the list of uh, missing values separated by comma. And first we have to import the pandas SPD, and then we have to, you can see here, this is the name of the data frame, COVID underscore 19 underscore NA and PD dot read CSV, and this COVID-19 dot CSV I'm passing, this is the name of the file. And now index underscore column I'm making 0 because I'm having already one index column. So if I am keeping here 0, so it will not show this index column, so it will drop. And if I will keep here 1, means by default value I will use, so it will add one index column. And I'm keeping this keyword in the function I'm passing, and we can have different ways to represent the missing values. This operator generally we use, or hash operator we use. So if you are having one operator, double operator, three operator, we have to see first in that data file, and then we will see how we are representing the missing values. Based on that, we have to pass those missing values here, and it will replace these missing values with non NaN value. So you can see it is replacing the symbol missing values with none. So if you want to check how many missing values you have in your data, so here is a one function is null. So this is null function you can use with the data frame dot is null function dot sum. So means complete how many number you have in a particular column, you have how many number of null values it will represent. If you will execute this command, it will show. So in this condition, health condition column, we are having 4 null values, that is output. Now how to fill the missing values? If you want to fill the missing values, you have different ways, as we have discussed in the previous slides. Either we can keep the mean or median in the case of numerical variables, and if we are having the categorical variables, then in that case we can use the most frequent categorical data or value. So if you want to calculate the mean, you can use the and COVID-9 underscore NA. This is the name of the data frame, and I am passing the name of the column, that particular column, a dot mean. This is the function in the pandas that we can use directly. And if you are writing this, so this complete term is a series, which is a one-dimensional array, and you are calculating a mean. And then in the second case, I'm calculating a median. I'm keeping here median function. In the third case, I am keeping here the categorical column condition, and I am keeping a COVID-19 underscore NA dot in value count. So means it will return the most frequent categorical value in that column. Now we can replace the NaN values using fill NA function. So fill NA function, how can you access? You have to access fill NA function. You have to keep your data frame name, and then fill NA function you have to keep, and this list of COVID list this column you have to pass, and then value counts you have to pass, and index in this index 0 position you are keeping comma, and in place true means in that place you are keeping the NaN values. So this column we are replacing with the NaN values. So after filling this missing value, you can see we are not having any missing value in our data frame. Now frequency table, and we say distribution. If we and we will learn how to create a cross table. First, we have to understand what is the frequency table. In our data frame, we have multiple variables, and if we want to know more than that data frame, so we have to see the relationship between the variable that exists between them. So if you want to see the relationship that exists between them, we have to use the frequency table, and we can do it by one by one. And for example, if you are checking the relationship between the categorical variables, you can create a frequency table. And if you want to check the univariate analysis, if you want to do, then in that case you can also create a frequency table. By default, it computes the frequency table of the given columns. So here in the example, I am just creating a cross table. In the cross table, I am keeping index value and column that will count. It is a name of the column that it will create, and I'm keeping here drop NA is equal to true. So it may happen in the data frame we have some NA value, so we can drop them. Without drop NA value, we will count the frequency of each category. So you can see here in output we have a column 0 of profession. This is the column name profession, and this is the count of each category academician, and this is the frequency of academician. This is the frequency of means the academician or businessman or health worker, social worker, they are repeating 6 or 7 and 5 times. So most frequent most of the persons are health workers in this survey. So in the previous example, you have seen that we have just passed the one column. You can see we have passed only one column of the data frame, and the next columns we are just passing the name that we want to create a column. But now if you want to have a two-way frequency table, this means we want to see the relationship between two variables. So you can create a frequency table, and we can see we can use the same function for different purpose and to different frequency table. If you want to see the frequency distribution between two variable, we can use the same function. We can also create a joint probability distribution table. We can also use for marginal probability, and we can also use for conditional probability. We will see one by one each distribution function. Now frequency table for frequency distribution. So to find the frequency distribution of coronavirus with respect to profession of people, so we can just pass the name of the column in index keyword, and in place of count name, now I'm passing the name of the other column here of profession. So I want to calculate the frequency of the each category as per the profession of the person, and I will drop the NA value from the data frame. So if you are looking at the output here, I am having the profession, academician, businessman, health worker, social worker, and now you can see the infected people means what is the status. So whether they are infected or not. So means academician out of 6 are 2 infected and 4 are not infected, and businessmen 5 are infected and 1 is not infected. So means the category wise we are looking at the frequency distribution of the infected people. So this is the very small data, that's why we are it is showing the small values, but whenever we will do the classification in the next day, so in that case we will use the around more than 20,000 data, so there will be the large data and we will see the more detail about the health of the patients. If you want to see the joint probability of the two variables, so you can create a cross table, frequency table, and we say it is a joint probability, and joint probability is the likelihood of two independent events occurring at the same time. So if you are passing the, if you are using the cross pd dot cross tab function and you are using, you are passing this name of the column, and next column we are passing in the column keyword, and in the previous example you have seen that we are not using the keyword normalized, we are just using the directly drop na is equal to true. So now in this example the extra keyword we are using here, normalize is equal to true, the same function we are using but one additional keyword we are passing argument we are passing. So you can see the we are getting the output here and all the values are normalized. Whenever you will calculate the sum of these values we will get 1. So this is the probability of infected people with coronavirus and having the profession as academician. So you can see the infected people. So infected people we are coming in this row, and who is having the profession academician, you can see the academician. Oh, sorry, here we are having the people who are infected, and if we will look at the academician we are looking at this value. So this is the value and you can interpret this value means joint probability of infected people with coronavirus and who are profession from academician. Now we can create a frequency table for marginal probability. Marginal probability is the probability of occurrence of the single event. So either of the events can occur and we will calculate the probability of that event. So if you want to calculate the marginal probability, so you can use the same function, but only the difference here you are passing one more additional keyword which is the margins. We are passing the same column, two columns, corona and profession, and we are keeping one additional keyword margins is equal to true, and we are also keeping the same keyword normalize is equal to true and drom na is equal to true. So if we are passing these argument to the function, then it will create a marginal probability distribution table. So now in the output the difference is that it is showing one additional column all, and we can see here the in each category and one more row we are getting here this, and if you will see the probability, so you can see I want to see the probability of infected people with coronavirus and having the profession as academician, either academician or business or health worker or social worker, is 0.33. So if you will look at this, so you can see either of academician, businessman or a health worker or social worker, the person is having the infection and the probability is 0.3. Now the frequency table for conditional probability distribution, and if you want to calculate the probability of the event A, the conditional probability is the probability of event A while another event B has already occurred. So I can say, suppose the one people is infected and he is having the profession health worker. I want to calculate the probability for this. So he is already a health worker and now I want to see what is the probability he will be infected. So this is the conditional probability condition you are keeping. So in that case, you can use the same function cross tab, and we are passing the same column corona and profession, and margins we are keeping true and normalize the or addition the difference from the previous command. You can see here in the previous command we are passing the previous two commands. We are passing the normalize is equal to true, but here the difference is that the normalize is equal to index we are passing. So index, what is the index? Index is equal to COVID underscore NA corona. This column we are again passing in the normalize. So index we are passing and drop NA is same true. So we are getting the conditional probability, and this is the table of conditional probability distribution. And you can see we are having the profession, academician, business, health worker, social worker, and we are here. So only if you will compare the output with the previous two, then we are getting only one row, additional row, which is the all. It is showing, and it is showing this column 0.25, 0.25, 0.291,667 and 0.20833. So if you will interpret this value 0.25, so you can see it is a health worker and the people are infected. The probability of infected people with coronavirus and having the profession as health worker is 0.25. This is the conditional probability. Sorry. So now we will see the correlation, and we will see how to calculate the correlation of all data, all the columns or variable of the data frame. Let's see what is the correlation. Correlation is an association of strength between two variables represented by scattered plots. And if you want to calculate the correlation of all variables of the data frame, you can use the correlation function, and which is used to compute the pairwise correlation between the factors of the given data frame. The syntax of the correlation is here. Data frame name you have to keep, and dot corr correlation function, and then in this function you have to pass the self and method. And here the self is a name of the method is the name of the your correlation method, and method can be a Pearson method, Kendall rank method, and Spearman rank method. Any of the method you can use, but here you have to eliminate the categorical values or variable from the data before using this correlation function. So function does not include null values. This is the first condition. Second condition is you have to remove the categorical variable from the data frame. Then you will be able to use the correlation function. Here, because I am having the all values are numerical values, means all variable are numerical values. If you will see in the previous slides, user ID, movie ID, rating, timestamp, they are having only numerical values. So that's why I'm not removing the categorical value. I don't bother. So I'm just passing the name of the I'm just passing the name of the sorry. I'm just keeping the correlation function along with the data frame. Correlation matrix underscore matrix is equal to ratings dot correlation function, and I'm not passing any name. So the thing is, it is calculating the Pearson correlation. If you want to calculate the Kendall rank and Spearman, you have to specify. So by default, it will calculate the Pearson correlation method it is using. So I'm printing. You can see the snapshot of the data frame that we have created, which is we are creating, which is we are using for the correlation. So the correlation diagonal, you can see the all we are having the one. Why? Because the user ID with user ID we are having the correlation 1. So always the variable, if you will see the relationship between the two same variables, they will have always one correlation. But user ID and movie ID, they are having this positive correlation, which is equal to 006, and this you will also see. So this is the diagonal and it is same. If you are looking rating and you are comparing, you are looking the correlation between the rating and user ID, it is a negative correlation, and means if you will increase the rating, the user ID will decrease. And timestamp, you are having the positive correlation. So if you will see the correlation between the movie ID and timestamp, means it is having the positive correlation 0.5. So means if the movie ID will increase, the timestamp will also increase. Now we will come to the next slide, data visualization. And yesterday we have discussed the data visualization is a step of analysis. And in this step, we draw some plots of the data, and we want to see what is the nature of the data and how the variables are relating to each other. We see the trends of the relationship. So first we will discuss the category of the scatter plot, histogram, and bar plot that will come under matplot library. And the second category is the second library is Seaborn, which is at the top of the matplot. And Seaborn library will give you a more advanced, attractive plots of scatter, histogram, and bar plot, and some additional plot we can also have like group bar plot and box and whiskers plot and pairwise plots. So let's have the idea of the scatter plot. So scatter plot is basically a set of points that represent the values obtained for two different variables plotted on the horizontal and vertical axis. So if you will see the x-axis and y-axis, you will see these two variables. So here in my case, I'm reading one file covid19.csv and index underscore call is equal to 0 and NA values, means you have to eliminate the NA values while reading, means missing values you have to replace with the NA values. And then we are keeping here the scatter plot, and before the calling the scatter plot, you have to import the matplot library. Import matplot lib as a PLT. So PLT is a alias of matplot library dot scatter function, and then we are passing two name of the variables, age and experience. So age is for x-axis and experience is for y-axis. And then you have to set the title of this plot. So the name of the title, the name of the plot is scatter plot between age and experience. And then level you have to set age and experience for y level. And after setting the title x level and y level, you have to call the show function, which is a matplot library function, plt.show. And as you will, and complete code you have to run in the spider, then it will show this scatter plot between age and experience. So from this plot we can infer the information that the age will increase, the normally the people will have the more experience. So this is the relationship between the age and experience. Now we will see the histogram. An histogram is basically a graphical representation of data using bar of different heights. And this histogram is used to represent the frequency distribution of numerical variables. So if you are having the categorical variables, in that case you cannot use the histogram function. It will work only for numerical values. So you have to keep in mind that ratings is equal to pd.read underscore csv. This is the reading, we are reading the file, and then plt dot histogram. For histogram we are using a hist function, hist, and in this function we are passing the name of the column, user id, and comma color is equal to green, means the all bars will have the same color, green, and age color will be black, and bis is equal to 10. So bis means, suppose if you are having the more category in this column, then you will have the more bar. So suppose if you want to see the only 10 categorical values, bar of the 10 categorical values, sorry, 10 variables, so you can just keep the base is equal to 10. If you want to see the 20 numerical values bar, then you can keep base equal to 20. And age color or user color is equal to green. These are the optional argument. If you want to keep set, you can set, otherwise it will take the default color. plt.title, you have to set the title as we have set for the scatter plot. So set the title and set the level and y level, and you have to call the show function. So complete program you have to run, then it will display your histogram. This is histogram we have created between the user ID and frequency. So you can see the user ID with 600, they have they have given the more rating to the movies. This relationship you can see for this bar graph, and if you are looking at the frequency, this is the most frequent number or user ID in this column, and means we can say that the user ID 600, he has given the more rating to the movies. Now the bar plot. The bar plot represents the categorical data with rectangular bars with length proportion to count that they represent. So the difference you can keep between the histogram and bar plot. The histogram will work only for numerical values. The bar plot will work for categorical variables. So it represents the frequency distribution of categorical variables. And if you want to plot the bar plot, so you can use the, first you have to do the some little bit calculation. You have to create the frequency table between the profession and count, and then sorry, we are creating a cross table, just want to see the relationship. And here I am creating a one array, np.arrange is I'm passing 1,5, and then I am using a plt dot bar. This is the bar plot. I want to draw the bar plot, and index comma count, this column I am passing, and color I am setting red, blue, green, purple. So as you will pass this count series, then it will create a bar plot, and you have to set the title and X label and Y label, and you can call the show function. So it will show the bar plot between the profession and frequency. So you can see here, if you will run this command, so it will also show the this cross table frequency table, and you can see the what is the frequency of each category of the profession. Means we have a profession of business, academician, health worker, and you can see the most frequent is this. Now data visualization with the help of Seaborn library. So we will learn how to create a basic plots using Seaborn library, and these basic plots are scatter plot, histogram, bar plot, and we will also see the box and whisker plot and grouped bar plot. Now the definition of the scatter plot is same, but the method of creating the scatter plot is little different from the matplot library. So here, if you want to create a scatter plot, you have to use the rig plot function. So first you have to import the Seaborn library, and then you have to call the function. So SNS is the alias for the Seaborn, and SNS dot rig plot, and is this function, in this function I am passing the x is equal to age, y is equal to price, and scatter is equal to true. So if you want to see the points, you have to make the scatter is equal to true, and in the here one more argument is here, fit rig is equal to false, and data is equal to C data. So I am passing the data frame here, and now it is creating a rig plot between the age and price. So normally whenever you are having a one item, and if the age of the item is increasing, so normally depreciated value will be there, so it will reduce, the cost of that item will get reduced. So this is the relationship between age and price. So in the regression analysis, we will predict the cost of the ventilator. So you can see the relationship. If the age of the ventilator will increase, the price will decrease. By default, fit is equal to fit underscore rig is equal to 0. It estimates and plots the regression model relating to x and y variables. And parameter marker can be set at different mark, like a star or plus or any other marker. So here I am using a circle marker. So if you want to change the marker, you can set the marker star and plus. Now the scatter plot can also be draw between three variables. So, but you have to use the function, different function implot. This function will allow you to draw the plot between two variables, but by showing the group of third variable with different colors. So here I have drawn a plot between age and price, but I want to show that what are the categories of these points. So if you will see, by mode I have created this plot. So implot I am calling in this SNS dot implot, and I am passing the x and y axis, age and price, and scatter is equal to true, and fit rig is equal to false, and data I am passing, and hue is equal to mode type. This is the third variable. So by mode it will show the points on the graph plot, and it will be in different color. So legend is equal to true. So this is the legend. In legend, you can see the third variable, but two variable n axis and y axis you can see here. And palette you can see this is the color palette. We have a three color palette: set 1, set 2, set 3. This is a set 1 I am setting here. It is showing the my points in different color: red color and blue color and green color. And some are orange color. So you can see here assist and assist control IMV and other. These are the modes, type of modes of the ventilators, and we can see they are showing in different colors. Now histogram, if you want to create a histogram in the Seaborn library with or without default kernel density, we can draw. Here bins can also be customized by setting up bins is equal to number. So I have drawn this histogram for the edge, and dist plot function you have to use to create a histogram in the Seaborn library. SNS.sys plot, and I'm passing the name of the column C data edge. So this series we are passing to the dist plot. So it is showing the histogram in the first case. So you can see this histogram is showing along with the one curve. And if you want to remove this curve, you have to make the KDE is equal to false. Then it will remove that curve. So in the second case, you can see this plot I have used, and I am making a KDE is equal to false. Then it is not showing any curve along with the histogram. Now the frequency bar plot. So frequency distribution of mode type of the ventilators, if you want to see. So you can, because the mode type is a categorical data, and if you want to plot the categorical data bar plot, so you have to use bar plot. If you will use the histogram, it will not allow to draw. Such plots are generally used to visualize the categorical data. So now in the case of Seaborn, I am using the count plot, and in this count plot function I am passing the series of the mode type, and then I am also passing the data is equal to C data. C data is the frame, and now it is showing the bar plot of mode type. So assist control IMV other, these are the category of the mode type, and you can see the frequency of these mode types. IMV and other it is not showing because they are very less number in this category, so that's why it is not showing. We can also draw the group bar plot. So if you want to draw the group bar plot, you can use the count plot function with the additional passing argument. In this case, I am using the count plot sns.count plot. I am passing the x-axis, and hue means by operation type you have to group all categories of the mode type. And palette you are setting set 2, and data C data frame I am passing. So these passing argument I am passing to the count plot. So it is creating a grouped bar plot, and you can see here two groups you can see in the case of assist. In each case you can see the two group. Assist control, it is showing two group. So you can see if you want to draw the for manual, so it is showing the manual. If you want to draw automatics, so it is showing this is the for automatic. So for assist mode type, we are having two groups. We can divide in two groups. First is for automatic and one for manual. And if you will see the output cross table, we have frequency table we have created for these two variables. So you can see mode type we are having assist control IMV and other, and automatic and manual, these two groups we are having in operational type. So it is distribution. This is the distribution, frequency distribution of mode type by automatic and manual. Now box and whisker plots. this is the plot. If you want to draw the 5-point summary of the data, you can plot the box and whisker plot. Actually, in this plot, there are 5 horizontal lines. This one, and this one, and this one, this one, and this one. So this below lowest horizontal line and upper horizontal line, these are the minimum and maximum values. So if you will see the output here, 5-point summary means I will use here age dot describe. So I want to see the 5-point summary of the age series, age column. So you can see total values in this column. We are having 20,433. And if you will see what is the mean is 43, standard deviation is 20, minimum is 18, and these are the quartiles that are 28, 39, 49, and maximum value is 100. So age of the people, maximum value is 100, and it is showing the outliers. And we can also have the outliers below the lowest horizontal line, but here we are not having any value below this, so that's why it is not showing any outlier. So this is the minimum. It is this horizontal line is representing the minimum, and this horizontal line is representing the maximum. But these 3 horizontal lines are representing the quartiles. You can see the 75%. This is the horizontal line is representing. This is the 50%. It is a median also. It is representing, and this is representing the 25%. So you can see our most of the people are having the age between the 18 and 49 years, and very less number of people we are having between the 50 to 80 years, and very less number of people we are having between 20 to 28. So this is the whisker plot, and these horizontal lines are called whiskers. That's why we are calling it is a box and whisker plot. So if you want to draw the box and whisker plot, you can use the Seaborn library sns.boxplot. This keyword you have to use this function, and in this function you have to pass the one column. So you can also pass the 2 or 3 columns, but here in this case I am passing only one column, age, and I want to draw along with the y-axis. So I have drawn this box plot along with the y-axis. This age you can see, and this is the box plot, and this command you can use. Now you can also draw the box plot between 2 different variables. So here in this case I am taking a box and whisker plot between the numerical and categorical variables, and these are the health condition and age of the people. So sns.boxplot and health condition and age I am passing, these 2 variables I am passing, and data frame I am also passing in the data. So it is creating this box plot, and you can see recovery of the people. You can see these are the outliers. So the very less number of people above the 40, 60, or we can see say 50, more than 50 years. They are very less number of people who has recovered from the corona infection. But most of the people are above this age. Those have been died. They didn't recover. So this is the box plot that we can see between the health condition and age. So if you want to see the frequency, see the 5-point summary of the health condition along with the age, you can see this is the frequency table. This is the frequency table of health condition by age. Now grouped box plot and whisker plot we can also draw just like a bar plot, and if you are passing the hue, in this case one additional argument, then it will draw the box and whisker plot by your hue. So here we are having the x-axis and y-axis, two variable, and we are taking and we are grouping by third variable age state. So it is showing the box plot. So you can see here where this color, blue color, is indicating that they are having the age less than 50, and they are this color, brown color, it is showing that the people are having the more than 50 years age. If you want to draw the pairwise plots, you can also draw. So if you want to draw the pairwise, you can use the pair plot function, and you can pass the data frame and the type of the scatter plot you can pass. And if you are passing the scatter plot here, so it will draw the scatter plot. If you are passing the histogram, then it will draw the histogram in all these pairs. And if you are passing the bar plot, so it will draw the bar plot. So as per your requirement, you can draw the pairwise plot using the pair plot function. And I'm passing here hue more time. So it is creating a pairs of 6 plots, scatter plots, but diagonal it will show the either histogram or some other plot. Now today we have discussed all these concepts. So in this lecture we have discussed the pandas introduction, and we have discussed the how to import the data from the data from the data file, and how to impute the data if we are having the missing values, or if you are having the NaN values. So how we can impute the data, how we can clean the data. And we have seen that if you want to check the relationship between two variable or more variable, you can use the frequency table. And in the frequency table, we have discussed the joint probability distribution, marginal probability distribution, and conditional probability distribution, and which are differing just because of the passing argument. So margin and normalize, if you will set accordingly, it will change your frequency table. We have also discussed the different types of plots. In the case of data visualization, we have discussed the scatter plot and bar plot and histogram with the help of matplot library, and we have also drawn these plots with the help of the Seaborn library. And in the Seaborn library, we have seen this some interactive plots we are looking. So the Seaborn are also using the some feature of the matplot. So we have to also import, if you want to use the Seaborn library, you have to also import the matplot library, so that you can also use the some additional feature of the matplot and Seaborn